So, what does it really mean to stand up for what's right? Especially when, everyone around you is telling you you're wrong. Well, today we're going to dive into that very question with a true masterpiece. This is Echoes of Justice, The Mockingbird.
Yeah, that question right there, it's the beating heart of the story we're getting into. It's one of those questions that really, truly challenges you right to your core. And for over 60 years now, one single novel has been helping us try to answer it. We're talking about a Pulitzer Prize winner, a total classic, Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird. All right, so let's get into it. Why does this book, written so long ago, still feel so incredibly urgent today? It's simple, really. The big questions it asks about racism, justice, what real courage looks like, well, they never get old. I mean, just think about that. 60 plus years. For that long, this book has been a staple in schools everywhere. And not just as, a piece of literature, but as a fundamental lesson in what's right and wrong. That staying power, that says everything about how important this story is. Okay, so to really get the genius of this novel, you have to understand something crucial. It's not just a story about one time period. It's actually a story of two. It's like two different eras are unfolding at the same time. And here's what I mean. This is the key contrast, right at the heart of the book. The story itself is set back in the 1930s, during the Great Depression. You've got this small town in Alabama, Macomb, where the social rules are super rigid. But, and this is the important part, Harper Lee was writing it in the late 1950s, right in the middle of the Civil Rights Movement. So just imagine the world that was swirling around Harper Lee while she was writing. 1954, school segregation is being challenged in court. 1955, the Montgomery bus boycott kicks off. By the late 50s, for the very first time, the reality of racial injustice is being broadcast on TV right into people's homes. So you see, the book was really a commentary on her present, just cleverly disguised as a story about the past. Okay, so with all this heavy stuff going on, racism, injustice, Harper Lee's choice for a narrator is, well, it's fascinating. It makes you ask the question, right? Why on earth would you tell this story through the eyes of a little kid? And the answer? It's absolutely brilliant. Scout Finch, our narrator, is just a kid. She's our window into this world. And because she hasn't learned all the twisted, illogical rules of adult prejudice yet, she sees unfairness for exactly what it is. It's just wrong. Her innocence kind of holds up a mirror to the rest of us, forcing us to see that racism isn't something you're born with. It's something you're taught. So this perspective, this really clear-eyed view of right and wrong from a kid, it perfectly sets the stage for the book's central conflict. And that is the massive collision between justice and injustice that happens at the trial of Tom Robinson. And wow, here it is, laid out plain as day. On one side of the scale, you have all this evidence, strong proof that Tom Robinson, a black man, is completely innocent. And on the other side, the verdict. Guilty. It's just a brutal, stark example of a system where prejudice is heavier than the truth. So with this one trial, Harper Lee isn't just telling a story. No, she's pulling back the curtain on the harsh truths of the legal system back then. She's showing us that courts can be biased, that people will sometimes choose their prejudice over the plain and simple truth, and that the whole idea of equal justice, well, it just wasn't a reality for Black Americans. But here's the thing. Even in the face of all this darkness and injustice, the book gives us a moral compass, a true north, if you will, and it comes through some of the most memorable characters and symbols in all of literature. And it really starts with this quote from Atticus Finch. He's Scout's dad, and he's the lawyer defending Tom Robinson. And he says this, "Courage is when you know you're licked before you begin, but you begin anyway." I mean, think about that. He knows he can't win. He knows the system is stacked against him, but he does it anyway. Because he gets that real courage isn't about winning. It's about fighting for what's right, even when you know you're going to lose. There's a reason Atticus Finch has become this huge symbol of integrity. He represents that quiet, determined kind of courage. The kind that makes you do what's right, not what's easy or popular. Just imagine the pressure he was under from his entire town, even his friends. But he didn't back down. That's what makes him such a powerful figure. And then there's this other piece of wisdom from Atticus, probably the most famous line in the whole book. He tells his kids you never really understand a person until you climb into his skin and walk around in it. It's the novel's core message, right there. It's all about empathy. He's basically saying that prejudice comes from a failure to just imagine what it's like to be someone else. It's a direct challenge to all of us. Try to understand before you judge.
And that idea of empathy leads us straight to the book's title and its most important symbol, the mockingbird. So, what is it? Well, it's a symbol of pure innocence. The whole idea is that it's a sin to kill a mockingbird because they don't do anything to hurt us. All they do is create beautiful music for everyone to enjoy. So, who are the mockingbirds in the story? Well, they're the innocent characters who are harmed by the evil around them. Tom Robinson is the most obvious one, a good, harmless man who is literally destroyed by racism. And then there's Boo Radley. He's the mysterious neighbor everyone spreads rumors about, but it turns out he's actually a kind, gentle person who's been unfairly judged his whole life.
So let's bring it all together. What gives this story such an enduring legacy? Why are we still talking about it so many decades later? Well, think about when it came out, 1960. Its impact was immediate, and it was huge. Segregation was still legal in many parts of the country. For a lot of white readers, this book was maybe the first time they really saw the human cost of racism told through a personal story. It challenged people to look in the mirror and ask a tough question. By staying quiet, am I part of the problem?
And the reason it still hits so hard today, because those themes are absolutely timeless. We are still dealing with racial bias in the justice system. The need for empathy, especially in a world that feels so divided, is maybe more important than ever. And that challenge, to find the courage to stand up to injustice, that never goes away. And that brings us right back to the question we started with. See, the real power of this book is that it takes the spotlight off a fictional town from the 1930s and shines it right back on us, today. It leaves us with a very real, very personal question. Am I staying silent when I should be speaking up? And that is the echo of justice that this story leaves with us.